We also got useful features related to arrays and objects and how we can retrieve the data that's stored in arrays and objects. Now, for that, let's add a new array here. Let's say hobbies, and that can be an array of strings, like sports and cooking here. And now, obviously, we can retrieve elements by index here, like this, for example. But you should know these basic JavaScript things. Next-gen JavaScript introduced a nice feature if we want to extract all values of an array. When could you need that? Well, let's say you have the active hobbies, and that's an array where I do have hiking as a hobby, and now I want to add sports and cooking. Now we can add an item to active hobbies by calling push. By the way, in case you're wondering how I can push to a constant, keep in mind that arrays are objects and objects are reference values. When we push, we change the memory, but not the address. If this doesn't tell you anything, check the additional resources I attached to this lecture regarding that topic. So back to this example then. We can push here, but push, if we push in the hobbies, we'll add hobbies as a new array in the array, so as a new nested array, which TypeScript actually detects, and it tells me that if I want to add a string array to an array of strings, that's not okay. So instead, push takes single values. So we could pass hobbies 0. Actually, push even takes an unlimited amount of arguments so that we can push multiple items in order at once, like that. But that's a bit cumbersome, and that's where the spread operator comes in. It looks like this. It's 3 dots, and yes, this looks strange, but this is a valid JavaScript operator supported by TypeScript. And after that, we specify or we point at the array or object, as you will also learn, that we want to spread. So what this does is it tells JavaScript in the end, because that's a vanilla JavaScript operator available in modern JavaScript. So it tells JavaScript to pull out all the elements of that array and basically add them as a list of values, so not as an array, but a list of individual values in the place where you use that operator. So here, for example, as a list of arguments passed to push. Another place where you could use that is directly when you create a new array. There, you can also spread an existing array into that array. So basically, whenever you need a comma-separated list of values, you can use the spread operator with an array to get such a comma-separated list. That's the idea of the spread operator, and therefore it's really useful for pulling out elements of an array. The spread operator also does not just exist on arrays, it also exists on objects. Let's say we have a person which has a name key, max, and an age key, which is 30. And now we want to create a copied person. Now, if we just assign person like this, what we're doing is actually we're copying the pointer at this person object in memory into this copied person constant. And again, check my reference value resources attached if that doesn't tell you much. So we're not really creating a copy of that object. Now, to create a real copy, we can use the spread operator with objects. We create a new object with curly braces, and then we use the spread operator, 3 dots, with our first object which we want to copy. Now what this does is, it pulls out all the elements, but of course here the elements are key value pairs, not single values like in an array. Here we got key value pairs. So these key value pairs are pulled out of there, and then can be used anywhere where you need key value pairs, which typically is another object you might be adding them to. So therefore, to this otherwise empty object, the key value pairs of person are now added. And since we created a new object here and just added the key value pairs, we got a perfect copy of the original object and not just of the pointer that points to the object in memory.